So we're here at the Performance Company. Once again, we're here with this lovely red M140i, which is one of the guys here. This is his personal car, and we're going to be working a little bit further on it. So we've already made a few different products for this BMW platform at the moment. So you would have seen our FMINDK50 sat in here, pushing that air in. And now we're going to be working with that air, bringing an induction kit in. So you'd already have seen that we have released FMINDK50 for this B58 engine. Again, just increasing the amount of airflow we can get actually into it. The next step on the market for us was really to look at what we're going to do as an induction kit. So we've decided to go down the route of a carbon fibre upper box, keeping that lower air box. It's getting a good amount of air in from the FMINDK2 we've already installed in this vehicle. So the next step, really what we're going to do today is just show you how to install it, show you how simple it is, see how easy it is to get that little bit more noise and a bit more power. So the first thing we're going to do is actually take off this stock inlet hose. So you'll be able to see it's got a noise resonator on it, just obviously trying to meet the restrictions. And there's also kind of like an accordion style flexible hose on it. All of these are going to be stopping that flow down to the turbo. So we're going to be swapping that over for INLH25, increasing that size, increasing that airflow as much as we can, and making a bit more of that lovely induction noise when we're getting out of this car. So yeah, first thing we're going to do is grab a 7mm, take that off on both sides, and get that out of the way for the first step. So we've got a 6mm at the top here. Yep, got that nice and loosed off. I'll just go down to the bottom, and I think that one's going to be a 7 down here. Yep, it is. I'll quickly swap over. Trying to get my hand stuck. I should be able to pop this off the top. The bottom. There we have it. So now you can really see the differences as I was talking about then. You can really see that restrictor on the side, the baffles, it's all just going to be really affecting the airflow. Noise and power is what we're trying to achieve here. This is FMINDK25, which is going to make a nice difference to it. So when you're actually fitting FMINDK25 to a stock airbox, it comes with this. It's a nice little sleeve, which will pop over that inlet there. This is because we're actually increasing the size when this is fitted up to INDK50. So when you're purchasing INDK50, you need to have this with it, or if there's any other one that goes to that same sizing. So the next step, I'm going to be getting this airbox out of the way. First step, I'm just going to unclip the muff, make life a little bit easier for myself. Tidy that out of the way there. And it's just got these clips. So these clips are also going to be the same as what's going to be used on FMINDK50 to secure it. And there we have it. So you're now going to need a T20 in order to remove the muff itself. As you can see, I have done this with the airbox off of the vehicle, mainly just to stop the chance of me dropping a bolt. You're welcome to take it off on there if you want to. Watch as I now instantly drop the bolt anyway, even after saying that. Won't be the first or the last time. And there's the muff out. So FMINDK25, as we already discussed, this is going to be a huge part of the kit. I'll put that down there, and we'll start going through sort of the other elements which are really going to bring out the power. You're not going to need this spacer that comes with the kit for FMINDK50. As I said, it's going to be a bit of an overlarge size to get even more air in. We have discussed FMINDK2, which is going to sit nicely in here, trying to get that air scooping in. And the last piece of the puzzle, FMINDK50. So as you can see, it's going to come with a pleated filter. It's going to fit itself into that factory lower airbox and the actual beautiful carbon airbox itself, as you can see. So these three elements are what are going to really make up our B58 package, so to speak. Getting that airflow directed in, pushing it down through the factory inlet duct, inlet track, sorry, from our inlet duct. Pulls itself through into the lower airbox in here, giving a really good cold feed. And this is what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to make sure that you get a really good cold feed into the actual airbox itself. We're increasing the filter element size by going to a pleated filter, and then the carbon itself. You can see you've actually got some decent louvers in here, which is going to make sure that it can actually pull some of the cold air that's feeding in from around the fog light area, above the light, around the bonnet. You're going to get some general okay cold feed in order to go with that really good ducted feed itself. The other side of that as well is obviously pretty much everyone on the planet has tuned their M140 at this point. So just to make sure that when you push in stage 2 plus, you've actually got a decent amount of air that still can be pulled in. We've seen that with testing, if you are trying to push up through those stages, if you've got a completely sealed airbox, you're only going to be producing a detriment to the performance. It's going to try and pull itself in before it actually pulls in more cold air from the exterior of the vehicle. So that's going to make sure that if you are looking to do any more mods in the future, you're sorted with FMINDK50. So the rest of it obviously is carbon fibre. Looks great. That's obviously one of the biggest things everyone talks about whenever they see carbon fibre. So one of the other really good properties of having carbon fibre is the fact that it's not going to be conducting heat when it's sat in your engine bay. Obviously, when you're looking at having a large lump of plastic, it's going to be okay. If you're looking at a large lump of metal, even worse. If it's sat completely open, it's going to be getting a lot of hot air from around the exhaust manifold and turbos that are going to be pushing up through the wick when you're tuning these. The carbon itself is going to do the opposite. It's going to sit there, it's going to make sure that you really are making the most of the cold air feed itself. So when we actually look at this product on the dyno itself, we did see a consistent drop in inlet air temps, IATs, of a good couple of degrees, which every difference is going to make a big help. And then the power band, where you're looking at about 12 brake horsepower when you add in both of these together. So it's a huge difference, you're really going to feel it. The other side is the fact that there's a bit more noise. You get a little bit more drama into the way when you're driving these, which is going to make a huge difference. So when we're going to be installing the pleated filter element or looking to put the silicone on, a little bit of silicone trim shine can be a really good help, just to make sure that you get it on without kind of forcing it too hard. I'm just going to put a little bit of that onto this. Now, actually install the filter itself. We're going to do this before we put it into the vehicle. Just obviously when we go to put the carbon on top, it's going to completely seal it. Cool. And then the next step, we'll go through and we'll tighten it. So I'll grab that. Cool, let's get this tightened up. Just got a 7mm socket on this one. So remember, we don't have to do this up by much. It's just literally like a couple of millimeters. Perfect. Similar to what I was saying beforehand. Do it off the vehicle so you're not dropping the bolts. And same as when I was taking off, I'm going to fit the MAF now before I put the airbox back onto the vehicle, just to reduce the chance of losing the supplied bolts that come with the kit. I can now grab my Allen key with a 3mm, and I'll just get that tightened up. Doesn't have to be done up too tightly, literally just nipping it out. So we've now got the MAF installed onto the airbox itself. So I'm just going to go and literally just place it in. It's fitting in the exact same way that the factory airbox, using the same kind of location points. Again, those clamps are just going to go over these and press into place. So let's get FMINDK50 actually fitted onto this M140. So just want to pay attention to where the filter is. Obviously you don't want to be knocking around too much, but it should fit in the hole in the same way that you remove the upper airbox. So I'm going to line it up, slots over, and that's it. So we've got this loose in place at the moment, just placed on top. The reason for it is I'm going to get FMINDK50 fitted in, and then we can fit it up to FMINDK50 with a little bit more movement, just to make sure we can make sure that the inlet hose is in position correctly. So inlet hose has now been tightened up, as you can see on the bottom. I left the top just loose for now, just so you can see, obviously we can just massage it into place. The reason we left those clips obviously undone was so that we could then get that around the carbon airbox without it being locked into place. So now at this point I can then lock it down. So I'll just make sure that's into position and just work my way around with these clips, making sure that they're all pressed down into place. And there's the final one just down here, which can be a bit of a pain to get your hand around into. Like so. Again, this doesn't need to be tight. As you can see, there's a little bit of movement there, so I'll just nip it up so it's just a little bit more than that. A couple of Newton meters is all we need. Perfect. Not going anywhere, as you can see. So when we're trying to remove these, as you can see, you can get your thumb in for this one because of where the actual louvers are. But for some of these ones around the back, it's a little bit more difficult. So what we tend to recommend is just putting a screwdriver down the side and you can pop that up. Or if you've got a trim tool available, go for that. Obviously do what you can in order to make sure that you're not going to be scratching the carbon. And there we have it. That is FMINDK50 fitted to this BMW M140i. As you can see, it makes a big difference to the engine bay. Just that visual appeal now is really popping. So we've got FMINDK fitted with FMINDK25 as the inlet hose. So you need to have these two when you're actually purchasing this product. So you'll see on the website on the drop down, you'll have the chance to take away INLH25 just in case you already have a 90mm inlet hose already installed. And also the addition of FMINLD2 down here. That'll be another drop down with a little bit of a price saving when you do it as a bundle together. So we're really pleased with this product. You can see in our previous dyno video we did going through all the figures and the details. The quick takeaways there is you're looking at about 12 brake horsepower. And then also there is an IAT drop as well, the inlet air temperatures around about 3 degrees from the OEM unit. So overall, we're super stoked on this product. It's gonna be coming out nice and soon. Enjoy.